Mist across the window hides the light. Nothing hides the color of the lights that shine. Electricity so fine. Look and dry your eyes. So tired of all the darkness in our life. With no more angry words to say. Alive. Get into a car and drive to the other side. Are young but getting old before our time. We'll leave the TV and the radio behind. Don't you wonder what we'll find? Stamp it out tonight. Dressed in pink and blue, just like a child. And in a yellow taxi, turns to me and smiles. We'll be there in just a while if you follow me. So tired of all the darkness in our lives. No more angry words to say. Get into a car and drive to the other side.
screwed and crunk. What's up, everybody? Monday Morning Madness. Yes, indeed. That is exactly. Speaking of madness, weekend was good. Friday, Saturday were good. Yesterday was probably the slowest day I've seen on eBay. If I didn't have a bunch of auctions ending, I wouldn't have broken $100, which is crazy for a Sunday. The site is still just a disaster mess of glitches everywhere and shit not working. I don't know what is going on, but man, it's very difficult. But yeah, let's take a look at the postcards that sold. Pretty much everything going out except for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items are postcards. Luckily, we had a good day Friday, a good day Saturday to kind of make up for it. We're at about $60 today and about $50 in unpaid items. So if those pay today, at least we're at $100 for today. So there's that. I'm just trying to keep my head in the game, keep listing, and yeah. Today I'm working on a bunch of lots. I picked up a lot of cassettes at coming out of the flea market and at the flea market. So I'm working on putting those into lots. I think I finally have enough Harlequin romance novels to lot up. So yeah, today's going to be today and probably tomorrow. Recorded VHS is another the sold as blanks tapes, but one of the boxes I got for free one of the sales around the flea market. They're like, yeah, this is all recorded off TV, and me and my brother, we'd have to fast forward through commercials, and I'm like, commercials, sweet. So I think I'm going to have to unpackage the VCR that was destined for Tommy and get it relisted. Oh, Carl, that sucks. Strap in for another 5 or 6 days. It took me 11 days before I tested positive. I was my ass kicked for a week. Get well soon. Here's what I will tell you. I immediately started feeling better after Mucinex. Mucinex in the daytime, NyQuil in the nighttime. All right, let's take a look. Large letter greetings from the lower Rio Grande Valley, sold for $266 chrome postcard. So I talked on Saturday. There was somebody who was buying a bunch of postcards, and it was a international customer. So I was just like, hey, I'm just going to put everything together into one lot for you. I'm going to cancel the orders or cancel the offers that you accepted or I accepted. And then I'm just going to put everything into one listing, and then I'll send you the link. Now, something that I realized in doing this, and I kind of knew this beforehand, but I'm going to mention this now. When you do something like this and you create a new listing in the lot, you canceled the old ones. This listing I put up as not promoted. And then I sent him the link. And I did not get charged a promoted listing fee on this. Whereas I would have if I had just combined the orders and shipped them, which I wasn't able to do because it was an eBay international order. So yes, that is probably a little sketchy in avoiding fees, but just something to put out there. You do with that information as you would like. It was not my intent to avoid fees when I did it that way. However, that is what happened. Santa Barbara Mission Library, Interior, Santa Barbara, California, $355. Amityville, the Wardles Hotel, Long Island, New York. This came from the Big Buy. Sold for $35.95. Very happy with that. Restaurant in Mountain Park, Holyoke, Mass. $5.36. Parlor of the Red Lion Inn, Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Sold for $8.96. It's an Albertype. Cluster of Cherries, Divided Back, Ed Mitchell card. You can pretty much like tell the Ed Mitchell cards once you're used to them. Like, what is an Ed Mitchell card? That's an Ed Mitchell card. Grand Teton at Grand Teton National Parks. It is a Teton. It is the largest of the Tetons. It is the Grand Teton. Stop saying Tetons. $266. Weiss artist sign, woman with veil, $355, free shipping, and like came along with one of these notes. Hi, where did you find this $3.55 free shipping card that's been on the site for 2 years? Also, here's my special delivery instructions for this $3.55 free shipping card. I messaged him and said, hey, I can cancel the order and add ground advantage shipping and put it in a top loader sandwiched between 2 pieces of cardboard. But, or I could just ship it how I'm going to ship it. And he said, just ship it how you're going to ship it. So I'm shocked. Birmingham Motor Court with the inset. Chrome postcard. No TV on, unfortunately. But man, look at that place. Looks cozy. $446. I've talked about this one many times. Ye gods, Charlie, because the elephant trunk. It's a penis joke. She's grabbing the elephant's trunk, and she thinks it's his penis. This card has been done by many different artists. In fact, we could probably do a quick search. Ye Gods postcard. Oh, there's Ye Gods Herman. There's Ye Gods Wilbur. There's a different Ye Gods Wilbur. That's a Bob Hall. There's a Standing John. I think there's a Ye Gads. If we go just even change this to Gads, we can see a bunch of different ones. Oh, yep, there we go. Ye Gads. That's an ashtray. And if we do like elephant tent postcard. Darling, there's a different one. Ye Gods Homer. Herman. Wilbur. Oh, here's a different one. Different Wilbur. You get the idea. Next, Wisconsin Memorial, Vicksburg National Military Park, Vicksburg, Mississippi. Linen. Out of the Gas Chamber, Camp Roberts, California, $6.95. Same customer also bought another one in a minute. Here's the USS Hull DD-945, home of the Peacemaker, destroyer ship, $3.55. Camp Roberts, California, Recreation Hall, $5.36. Same customers bought the other Camp Roberts car. Sold another lot of tune decks, $13.45. Forestry Building, OAC, Corvallis, Oregon, $4.46. That's Oregon Agricultural College for the acronym impaired. Main Street View, Hutchinson, Kansas, sold for $7.15. Undivided back from the collection of Miss Daisy Graves. Thank you, Miss Daisy Graves. Holiday Inn, Multi-View, Pascagoula, Mississippi, $3.55. Look at that poolside view. The color of those pools just Enticing. All right, we're into the auctions. Had a bunch of auctions end. Not a single auction had more than one bid. Not a single of my auctions. I had over 200 end yesterday. Not a single auction with a over $10 starting bid had a single bid on it. My very disappointed with the auctions, and I think probably a lot of it has to do with these have been on the site for a while, but most of them have been on the site for like 2 years or more, so I'm not too broken up about it. Also, the day would have completely sucked ass, been a disaster had I not had any of these close yesterday and pay. So take the good, you take the bad. Your auctions have end, and there you have the facts of life. It's $5.95 for a clap saddle St. Patrick's Day card. Seems like a steal to me. Grace Episcopal Church, White Plains, New York, $5.95. Real photo of street scene in Cle Elum, Washington. I've already sold this card before for around $13. Probably could have gotten that out of it, but whatever, it's a conversion. Gymnasium building, Cornell College, Mount Vernon, Iowa, $5.95. Probably could have gotten a little more out of that card. Ivy covered house, Nantucket, Mass. Marshall Gardner card. I've sold a lot of Marshall Gardner cards. This one had 2 bids, which doesn't even make any sense. Oh, this guy, it's because this guy was willing to pay more. What was his automatic bid? Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Massachusetts, $3.55. Waronoko, not an auction, but $3.55. Again, some damage. Probably could have got more out of it. Pearly Brook, Gardner, Mass. $5.95. Fine. A lot of 6 Metropolitan Museum of Art postcards. This came from that big lot that I bought when I was in Colorado. $5.95. Only $1.35 shipping though. So I'll probably just go 3 ounce and then throw a stamp on it and cross my fingers. B1, so it's been in the store for a while. So I'm not too upset about that. Same customer who bought all those other Native American cards bought this one. I can't combine shipping because it's 2 different shipping methods that he selected, but this one sold for $5.95. Probably could have gotten a few bucks more out of it, but hey, he bought it $80 worth of other cards. What are we going to do? No complaints. Wild Cat Den Cave, Muscatine, Iowa, $5.95. This has been in the store since beginning of 23, so been in the store for a while. Maybe could have got a buck or two more out of it. I'm fine with this. Happy with the conversion. Here's one I'm not as happy about. Athletic Field, Fort Lewis, in the forest carpeted state of Washington. Pretty good deal for a baseball themed card, I think. $5.95. I definitely know I could have gotten a few bucks more out of that if I waited. Just a pin. World's Greatest Skier. Sold for $4.46. Hang 10. I think I got this for free. And then Faded Glory t-shirt from the buyout stock. Even I know Faded Glory is a terrible, 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 terrible brand. So I'm getting $6.26 out of it. Probably some dude going to Sturgis or some shit. Yeah. This is probably my favorite sale of the day. That I've actually sold a Faded Glory something on eBay. That's like, yeah. I don't think that happens very often. So there you go. since the listings were older, I started them at about 60 to 70% of my previous buy it now price, right? So I basically was like, started them all more or less at what I'd be like, what I was okay with taking, right? If I had offers on those, I probably would have countered at maybe a buck or two more, but you know, sometimes you pay to convert, right? So that's kind of what I see. The way that I, you know, I'm not upset about it for most of those. I'm pretty okay with most of those sales. So there was only one or two in there that I was like, yeah, come on. I really thought I could do better on some of those, but whatever. Well, you know, what are you going to do? And honestly, if it wasn't for those sales, my sales would have been truly like I wouldn't have broken $100 yesterday if I didn't have those auctions closing. I don't know what was going on with the site, but there was definitely some really messed up stuff happening on the back end. I was getting errors all over the place all day long. So I wasn't pleased with that Joe Jackson mix. I do love that song, and I feel like I didn't do it justice. I may have to redo it tomorrow. I have a very, very distinct memory on that song, and it's very old memories. When I was growing up, there was this restaurant where I lived, and there was a few of them around, but there was one pretty close to the first house that I lived in Washington when I was growing up, and the place was called Pizza and Pipes, and I actually have a Pizza and Pipes T-shirt. You guys have probably seen on the show. This place was amazing. Like for a kid, it still would be amazing if it was around today. Like, so basically, it was a pizza place that had still probably the biggest Wurlitzer organ I have ever seen. The thing was humongous. It had like all kinds of like crazy, you know, things attached to it, and you know, whistles and like horns and crazy stuff. And the restaurant also had like the most ghetto like theme park knockoff characters that were dressed up and would come out. Like, so you'd have like, you know, Mickey and Minnie and Donald and, you know, different Warner Brothers cartoons characters and all like come around and play with the kids or dance with the kids or whatever. And like nobody didn't like this place. It was a great, you know, for kids, amazing. And there are two songs. Oh, the different organ players would take requests. And there was definitely like two songs that were like, you know, the equivalent to the kids as like girls just want to have fun, or groove is in the heart to everybody else as like a hit the dance floor and go crazy song. And one of them was Joe Jackson Stepping Out. The other one was and when I say kid, I mean I was no older than probably, like, I think the place probably closed around the time I was 10. And I don't know the name of the other song, but it's a well-known tune. And both of them very like high in the register. But yeah, Joe Jackson Stepping Out was one of those. So very early memory for me. And then there's archives of this place on the internet if you want to see what it looked like. It is I as far as I know and have seen, pretty like widely beloved. And there was one in Bellevue, which is where I grew up. Then I think there was one in Tacoma and maybe one in Portland. And I think there's one that still exists somewhere. Yeah, it closed in the late 80s. There was one in University Place which burned down. I remember that. There was one in Seattle. There's one, it looks like in Mason. Yeah, Mesa, Arizona is the last one. The organ grinder. Yeah, I mean, it was a definitely like a 70s, 80s fad. Like, if somebody told me like somebody was going to open another Pizza and Pipes, I would be their opening day for sure. Side tangent note, Casa Bonita in Colorado, I have been on their waiting list now for like 5 months trying to get a table at Casa Bonita. But I think they know I'm not a Colorado resident. They're giving preference to Colorado residents. Another place like the story of Casa Bonita. Basically, it almost died. It was made world famous by an episode of South Park, and it almost closed during the pandemic. And then Trey Stone and Matt Parker basically saved it, which is awesome. And it reopened about 6 months ago, but it has been like waiting list only. But it's the place that's like famous for shitty food, although the food is apparently better now. Cliff divers, like an old west town, a bunch of other stuff. So if somebody announced that there was a Pizza and Pipes opening up again in the area, I'm pretty sure it would have similar response. Side note. Does anybody want to invest in a Pizza and Pipes operation opening up in the Seattle area? Guaranteed money. Oh yeah, the chili restaurant. That place was, oh my god, that place was so good. Oh. There is a chili place that's up Elliott, like almost right as you cross into Ballard in Seattle on the right hand side. I think it might be called Matt's Chili, and I am not sure, but I believe it is. They serve the same recipe as the Pike Place Market Chili place. My memory may not be 100% correct on that, but I remember when I was there, there was a bunch of old pictures of Pike Place Market in there. And the food, the chili at that place is freaking amazing. It's right off after you cross over from Queen Anne to Ballard on Elliott. When Elliott turns into you go right past 65th to, I think it's 65th. It turns, no, because 65th goes left, right. 45th? No. It's right there. I'm losing the, is it Matt's Chili? No, that's not the place. Mike's Chili Parlor. That's the name of the place. And it's right when Elliott turns into 15th. It's good. I want some now. pretty much all postcards today. Like, it's a lot of repetitive. Make sandwich, put in an envelope. I think I'm on my last batch. Message. What does it say? It's in a foreign language. I'll deal with that later. Oh, did I not even grab cluster of cherries? I did not grab the cluster of cherries card. I'll be right back. Ah, got it. Yep. There we go. Those were stiffeners anyways. Don't love that. I'm going to give it one more little. And then last, not least, okay, the rest of this is super easy. Shirt. Or tank top, whatever it is. Cards. pin. Not quite right. Nope, that's not that stuff. I don't even need to do anything else with this. This is already well protected. Twelve, 6 and 4. All right, CD. CD is Back in the U.S. by Paul McCartney. And it sold for I think like $8. Memory serves me correct. And then DVD, The King of Kong. Very fascinating story, and not even so much the movie itself, but what has happened in the years since. I highly recommend the channel Carl Jobst, Jowst. He's the guy who kind of broke the story on the whole Wata grading scam. And he has been in a battle with one of the characters of this movie, Billy something. I forget his name. I want to say King, but it's not King because that's just in the name of the movie. But basically, the guy who was once the highest scoring person in Donkey Kong, there has been scandal, lies. The years since this movie have been far more interesting than this movie. But worth checking out the movie if you've never seen it. It was forever free on Netflix streaming, and it may still be. That movie sold for $9, and yeah, the CD also sold for $8. Okay, that's a good question, and I don't mind talking about politics on YouTube. I'm one of the channels that that will actually open up about that because I think it's stupid to take things that are important off the table in conversations just so you can get more views. So how do I think it's going to go? Not good. I am not a big Biden fan, but I sure as shit ain't no Trump fan. I'm gonna party if fucking Trump ends up in jail because that's where I think he belongs. I think it's very interesting the amount of mental and logistic gymnastics people have to do to justify supporting Trump. And sad actually, because they contradict their own beliefs so heavily and literally just put their beliefs on a shelf and are so willing to compromise it just to for some reason support everybody already knows is a criminal. He's terrible for this country, and if anybody has been paying attention to anything knows that he's not good for the economy. He was terrible for the economy. Anybody who says thanks Biden for my increased gas cost doesn't understand how that works. It's ridiculous. It's redonk. I am sure that if Trump goes to jail or doesn't win, but especially if he goes to jail, we will have another similar January 6th, if not worse. That's my fear, and that's what I think is we're probably heading towards, which history at the end of the day is not going to look kindly on Donald Trump. But where does loose like, does he? All right, I got one more thing going on. Let me grab it. Picked this up on my way out of the flea market at a fill the box sale, which means I've got less than 50 cents into it. Let's hope I have a record sleeve here. I do not. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm going to borrow one from myself. How do I do that? I find it fascinating that in the same breath people are willing to look the other way when a presidential candidate is convicted of paying hush money to influence an election. But her emails, like, come on. I also find it interesting that, like, is Hunter Biden a piece of shit? Yeah, probably. Is he the president? No, he's not. So who the fuck cares? Like, they focus on Hunter because they don't have the dirt on Joe, and even the dirt they think they might have is nowhere near as bad as what Donald Trump was just convicted on unanimously by a jury of his peers, where the jury is selected by both the judge, the prosecution, and the defense. So you can't the same president who everyone supported because of a return to the rule of law. Well, hey, This is the fucking rule of law. Your bad boy, your boy just lost big time. So either you support the rule of law. You know, these are the same people who say shit like blue lives matter or all lives matter without understanding what that actually means. Or understanding what Black Lives Matter means. People who think that Antifa is an organization. Sadly, very sadly, as a matter of fact, the electorate in this country is so not just uninformed, but ill-informed and misinformed that even in an election that there's no way it's unsurprising that the worst candidate often wins elections. This objectively, this country got worse under Trump, a lot worse on just about every measurable level. So a vote for Trump is make America much worse again. That's what it is. That's true. There's also I try to follow the lesser of two evils argument as much as possible. And I think the lesser of two evils is pretty clear on that particular comparison. Trump does not give a shit about his country. He is probably the most blasphemous person on the planet. He doesn't give a shit about religious, but he will spout that he loves God and the Bible. He has not read a single word of the Bible. I can guarantee you that. It's sad that there's so many people who've been fleeced, fooled, bamboozled, tricked by him to voting against their own self-interest. There you have it. There's my opinion. Thanks for asking. All right, everybody. All the things are shipped. So I'm going to go take my walk. Going to buy some milk. Drop off some stuff into some little libraries. And we'll be back tomorrow. There's 2 things in the hopper ready to go. And hope you all have a great day. And we will catch you on the flip-flop. Peace out.